Guess what?
What?
He's helping Boss bring back a Fed.
Oh yeah, I was just thinking we just need to kind of I figured out the quickest way to denounce that. Just label it as CCW 2.0.
That's what I said. I was like, dude, I love.
Just don't even just like make logos of it.
I'm so glad CCW is wearing its luchador mask now.
I'd come up with something that's like straight to the point, branding, and branded as CCW 2.0. Like if Jin wants to run his own thing, fine, but I will not have Boss in any form.
Wait, we need to make the Spider-Man meme. Spider-Man meme. One has the CCW logo, one has the RWF logo.
I like that. Dude, they're dumb as hell, bro. The first fucking pay-per-view they want to hold July 4th.
That's a fucking hell.
Why would you host a show on July the 4th? You don't even have to be American to know it's not a good idea to hold on that day.
It's a fucking Wednesday as well.
It's a Wednesday. I don't think it's a pay-per-view. I think it's just a show. But even then, it's like, why? Why would your dumbass hold it on fucking Independence Day? That's a good chunk of your wrestlers guaranteed not to come. Because there are Americans.
Hold on. It's like, hold on. This isn't CCW, but same owner, same time slot, same shitty building.
CCW 2.0.
One of these things is a lot like the other thing.
One of these things is identical.
One of these things just... In fact, both of these fucking things don't belong.
Fuck it. Neither of them. Kick them out. Did I tell you my idea for, like a sort of economy, a sense, to,
An economy?
An economy to clothing companies to actually get people more interested in them and to make them serve a bit more of an actual realistic purpose.
I mean, my suggestion is more just fucking end them all because it's fucking pointless.
Yes, but if they actually are doing what they're supposed to do, they're a great outlet to actually just not have to tax people on the idea of coming up with the tires and uploading them to the group and whatnot. It's a decent idea if we just, have them work well. So,
Keyword, I was thinking... make sure we have them work well.
Yes, keywords. So what I was thinking, and we got all three of the biggest ones to agree to it so far. So 3 biggest companies at the moment we got to agree to the system. So
Rosie
what happens? Yeah, Rosie Trunk Psych. So what we do is, if they let's take this example and work this example with Psych, APRW, and TM Punk. Those 3 are my example: clothing company, wrestling company, and wrestler. So let's just say TM Punk wins the APRW World Heavyweight title. People are buzzing about that. People are excited about that. They're big on TM Punk because of it. Let's just say, for example, any example works for this, but for this one. So, Psych comes up with the idea. Oh, let's make some merchandise for that. Let's make some merchandise and we'll sell some, because TM Punk's there. But the thing is, you want APRW to promote it. Well, the thing is, APRW promoting it's cool and all, but what do they get out of it? What does APRW get out of promoting merchandise for Psych? Absolutely nothing. So here's what I've devised. What Psych does is pays a small chunk, probably like 10, 15, it's be a very minimal amount because, of course, the tires and shirts and whatnot don't sell for jack shit.
I'm pretty sure. Can't remember how we do it because we've got to deal with trunks for 2K, and we get a commission off every single sale.
Well, it's similar to that, yes, in a sense. Except this one's not necessarily by commission, rather by advertising, and you adjust the pricing per time.
Fair.
So, how this one would work is they pay, this is a flexible amount here, but let's just say 10 is the starting one. And that 10 is given to the company that's got the shirt on for. So APRW is labeled as an APRW shirt, so 10 for that. So then the company takes either all of that money or a section of that money, depending on how big it is, and pays the wrestler to do some of the promoting for them. So what that does is that creates a happier wrestler because they have, A, merchandise that people can wear for them, but second off, so they actually get a small bit of money as like an advertising bonus. So it creates a bit more of a legitimacy to those stars that are actually over and selling a lot of merch. It creates stars that are deemed more marketable. It builds into the idea that there are 3 major clothing companies best worth getting the sponsor for, and it makes sponsorship companies that don't just sponsor every fucking person because...
Here's my pet peeve about clothing companies. It's fucking dumb because no one really wears merch.
Exactly.
It's really fucking...
But it would be cool if
I get Psych because they make stuff that isn't wrestling based.
Mm-hmm.
Trunks and Rosies is just wrestling, from what I've seen. There's a reason.
But it would be cool in a sense if people did wear merch, like just like, like when they're in the crowd and as an active crowd member, they actually wore merch to support who they want to support, as opposed to constantly worrying about wearing their attire. Someone could make a G. I think didn't Blazing make a similar GUI to that, where it's like you have a ring attire and a not ring attire, or am I thinking of a different wrong concept there?
I think you're thinking of an entirely wrong thing.
Well, that'd be cool though if someone could actually have like different attires saved, like say have 3 different things saved, like one with like or maybe 2, just like one in ring, one entrance attire and whatnot, and you can just load into it ASAP. That way you can wear your merch, but then instantly trade into your entrance attire without having to get a refresh or anything. Just easy stuff.
I mean, it's possible. It's easily doable, but it's the case of people. You have to ensure people aren't being fucking retards.
Well, yeah, but if they're being retarded, you just kind of have to funnel them out as they are. You shouldn't really come up with an automated system to take care of that. Be a good way to save yourself on refreshes, breaking refreshes, having to give start tools, having to respawn in TP or whatever the hell, just for each person. Instead, just have them handle it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Instead of having to micromanage each and every person that enters, just have them handle their own attire getting.
Yeah.
That could be a cool thing to do.
Yeah, definitely. Not debating that point. It's more the fact that it's just appearing to be more hassle than it needs to be.
Hassle, but maybe easier at the same time.
Well, of course, everything can always be easier. It's just a case of getting it to that point. Speaking of easier, this fucking shit is not getting easier that I'm doing right now. I fucking hate it already.
What would be a good place to start for this podcast?
I don't know. I've just kept this recording anyway. Like it's been recording since I joined the call.
Oh, is it? All right.
Yeah, I just leave it on and clip it until we actually get a solid start.
I'm
So
just trying to think. In a sense, yeah, isn't it?
Yeah, basically. So for those that don't fucking know, I'm DB. I'm joined by Kid per usual.
Wow. Okay. I was gonna introduce myself, but I guess fuck that.
Yeah, fuck you, cunt. That's what you get.
Thanks, big fella. Thanks.
That's what you get for fucking taking over wrestling, from what I've heard. You're big boy 4 shows a week.
Yeah. That's fair. Now we're making expansion moves. We got that WWE thing going on. We got that nice UK show, that Alfred or NXT stuff. 2 Raw. I can't wait to the weekends where we got 4 shows consecutively. That's gonna be a fun weekend.
Oh.
Actually, we've already had that before, dude. That's the sad part.
Wait, dude, now you're gonna have 5 shows? No, hold on.
Well, not in a row, but 5 shows within a week.
No,
on pay-per-views.
If we think about it, right? Logically, Friday you will have fucking Thunder. Saturday you have
then Saturday.
Outbreak.
If on the weekends of those happen, correspond. Yeah.
No, but logically, Saturday you'd have Outbreak and possibly a Takedown Live pay-per-view.
Yeah, depending on what expands out of it. Well, we gotta test the waters with Takedown Live first, right?
And then there'd be an RCW main roster pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. And then you've got Nitro.
Provided that we keep going for that, yeah.
And then you got a day off, and then you're immediately back at Takedown Live.
It's fuck. We'll be right back. Yeah, well, they need that day off to recover, man. Pro wrestling gets pretty strenuous on the body, as I just learned at APRW. Just had a nice return match.
Yeah, bro. Got to stretch.
I actually want to actively get going this summer. That's the weird thing. Like, I can never find the time to actively commit to it, and I don't even know that this will. But for all I can hope, I hope that there's one active run left in me, But who knows, right?
I'm at the point where I could not row wrestle again, and I wouldn't care.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I feel that I wouldn't overly mind. Just
like I've wrestled a bit as long as some people on this website have been alive, which is a scary thought. The more I think about it, like if you ever meet a 10-year-old, anyone that row wrestles currently that is 11 years old and younger, I have row wrestled longer than they've been alive.
Because, yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing we need to. So, welcome to the new generation, kiddos. Hope you remember being born. Dylan Brown sure does. Yeah, he remembers your birth too. He was there. You know what?
There's
I'm not gonna lie. That sounds like a promo that like.
I'm gonna start being fucking Eddie Guerrero. You can call me Papi.
Oh shoot! Doesn't he have a heart attack in the ring?
Probably.
Dude, that sounds like a thing RCW or APRW would do in a promo these days. Like I was just at APRW and I really don't know how to react.
I said that. I said it in a fucking. Let's just call it a shoot for the sake of conversation. I was fucking going off at Adapted Snake Bike and I'm like, I've fucking wrestled more matches than you've had hot meals. Shut the fuck up.
Oh, that sounds like a fun conversation. I sent an image, and obviously they can't see it in the thing, but just to give you a perspective for visual sake, I was at APRW, right, and they had an opening segment, and shit was fucking crazy. Like, dude, I don't get how Pro Wrestling promos keep getting more and more insane. Like I've had promos in prison and whatnot. We've had promos where we insinuated rape, insinuated masturbation, and otherwise.
I raised the point of you getting that massage. Yesterday. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I joined the server just as that started. And I'm like, what the fuck?
I know, we do those, but I think APRW just went the next damn level. Like, their opening promo with Falden was creating a visual of his parents and family getting murdered.
Oh, no, they've done that one before.
That's fucking insane. No, it's the first time I've ever seen it, but it's probably happened before, but I've never seen it before.
They've definitely done it before. The first time they were in, like, some mad trap house.
And
Falden's there is like a little baby, like a hench little baby. And,
yeah, I think they're doing a full thing with Falden.
Yeah, it's like Falden's all of a sudden turned into Batman.
I know. I mean, like, just to clarify, I'm not even saying this because I dislike it. Like, it's
oh no,
funny.
I
watched it. It was funny as hell.
It's fucking hilarious, but
it's just some out there stuff.
It's always great to go to a pro wrestling show and see a lynching.
Dude, someone's gonna be burned at the fucking stake my next show. I promise. Someone's getting burned at the stake. Like, come to RCW this Thursday. We're doing a day swap because of the because I'm gonna be leaving at like 5:30 on Friday. So I figure I either have to cancel the show or I talked to Ken about doing a day swap. So he's gonna be hosting Friday. So make sure you check out both RCW on Thursday and APW on Friday.
And more importantly, Takedown Live on Wednesday.
And Takedown Live and all other Wednesday show affiliates otherwise.
No, fuck that, Takedown Live.
I was gonna talk. Oh, what was I gonna say? I think pro wrestling's starting to shift to that, and I want to know like what your take on it is because I don't know like what. Well, that's what I was gonna say. I really don't know what your take on it is with this whole like next level promos in the sense where every single promo is something more than just the mic, more than just the ring, more than just the brawl. Like,
so I said this when I first went to VDW after coming back for a little while, and and actually started going to Feds. I wasn't the biggest fan of it at the start because I'm from that. Like, I started with wrestling before like themes were a thing.
And they're about to become not a thing.
Yeah, dude. Bro, it's taking me back.
It's right.
I'm gonna put this out here just now because it fucking annoys me every time someone's like, "Oh my god, like Roblox are trying to ruin pro wrestling," because they're fucking not. If they kept things the way they are, they will lose a lot of fucking money.
Yeah, they need. I mean, like, it's not the most. I understand it isn't the most satisfying thing, and sure as hell, it's not the best news to hear.
But do you know what's more also satisfying? Having Roblox to actually wrestle. It's like, pick your fucking poison, dickhead.
I mean, like, sure, for us that have themes and whatnot, and could be losing them to copyright, like, it's not the best thing to hear in the world, granted, but it's completely mandatory if you actually want Roblox, obviously. Like, they need the money, and you gotta understand at the end of the day it's a business. They can't
put it into perspective. Look at YouTube. You don't see every other cunt under the sun getting to use copyrighted music in their things and still keep monetization. It's basically more of a protection for people that are developers that don't know what's copyrighted and what's not. If it's not,
so they handle it for you.
Yeah, it's basically an extra step to help developers, and that's one of the best things they could have done. And as for everyone being like, oh, they partner with a company, oh no, like the company's provided over hundreds of thousands of songs free of charge for people to use. That's not a bad thing. It's basically giving Roblox a starter boost to get into the whole no copyright shit. And at the same time, you can still upload your own non-copyrighted audios that you have the right to use. It just means you cannot use audios that were created by someone else that you do not have the rights to upload. Which is essentially copyright law in a fucking nutshell.
Yeah, I know.
It just fucking infuriates me, dude. Every time I see someone mention it in the fucking Discord, I'm like, I'm gonna fucking end you. It's like, how can you be so naive?
I know.
Like, you see it on YouTube on a day. It's been happening on YouTube for the fucking years at this point. It's like, of course it was gonna happen to us. It was just a case of when. And I'm glad they'd rather do it now than when they're getting their fucking asses sued for copyright.
Exactly. It really is it really is a matter of people don't ever really understand the concepts behind these things until you actually stop and think that there's a reason it's happening. Like, it's not.
They wouldn't do it for the shits and giggles.
Yeah, they're not like, it'd be funny if we just like got rid of all fucking audios. They wouldn't have done it for almost 4 years or 4 or 5 years or whatever the fuck. They wouldn't have had them pretty much unchecked for 4 to 5 years, with the exception of it can't excessively swear, and even then sometimes broke the rules. But, you know, within the exception of it's family friendly, you can upload whatever you want. They wouldn't have done that just to, you know, fuck themselves over in a sense and have to go through all that work of, you know, monitoring it. It comes with a purpose for them.
They've got to protect themselves, all in all, in this situation, and that's the one thing they can do and do correctly.
But some people just will never understand that until they're put in the situation that they realize then, oh, there is a reason. But like until it's them, they don't understand.
Because people don't listen. People don't
think.
People don't care unless it's like affecting them. As for killing Pro Wrestling, there are literal millions and millions, like multiple millions of people that don't wrestle on this fucking website. It is not all about you, you selfish pricks.
So yeah, but sometimes that's not an easy concept, and that's why I tweeted out once that I just have like I have a huge amount of respect for the people that even though they lose, they still thank the chairman. I know that's sort of a something there, but they realize that it's not all about them. They realize that there are other things out there, and just because something goes wrong for them, they don't actively go out and try to be a colossal dickhead about it. So in the same sense that Roblox is doing what they have to do. They've probably dealt with hundreds, maybe even thousands of comments, replies, or emails, or otherwise from people saying that they're ruining the site because of this.
It's like, no, they're not ruining the site. They're not ruining the site at all. If they're ruining the site, they'd fucking know about it.
If anything, they were ruining the site by not having it.
Yeah, this is a safeguard, like, protection to ensure that Roblox will still live to see another day.
And I don't like it either, but I understand that it's entirely random.
Oh, trust me, but, like, at the same time, there are probably thousands of creators on Roblox that see if you wanted to hand them a bit of Roblox and something like that, you could probably get someone to literally make you a custom theme. Like, no copyright.
And on top of that, there's also entire channels dedicated to finding music and having music that is entirely copyright free that you can use whenever, however, wherever the fuck you want.
Hell, look at fucking Incompetech.com. Mm-hmm. That place has literally millions of songs that are all Creative Commons, no like royalty. It's like all royalty free music. You can't really lose. Yeah,
and there's also it's a YouTube channel that I was using before this thing came, but I'd also highly recommend people use it now, knowing what they're knowing is coming. It's Montage Rock, a YouTube channel.
Oh, I heard it.
Yeah, it's got a whole bunch of rock and otherwise rock genre songs that a lot of them I've used as themes. Not theme songs, but like pay-per-view themes.
Yeah.
I've recommended them to some people for superstar themes, and they're all copyright free. That's the whole point of the channel, is they won't upload something unless it's copyright free. So you can find the shit there. And sure, you're not going to be able to use certain songs, and some people's themes are going to bite the dust. And there's also other loopholes around it, but other than that, in a completely loophole-free way, Montage Rock and the other channel, the website that you recommended, would have plenty of them.
Oh yeah,
just use some of that.
People don't listen though. That's just how it works.
What were we saying about you didn't? I don't think you finished your point on what your take on these new, more outrageous style promos.
Like, sure, there's a limit, but y'all gotta remember this is a fucking game. As much as it's cool to take it serious, like, we don't blame you for taking it serious. It gets competitive. And it gets, like, when you feel like you're getting good, obviously you're going to take pride in that. But this is still a fucking online game. Don't take every single little thing that happens in a promo to heart and all that. Like, I'm waiting for the day where someone gets that, like, proper backlash from a promo. Like, sure, don't just, like, spent an entire promo calling it KDB just to call him certain words that I shall not repeat because people will say I said it on purpose. Because, you know, oh, he mentioned the word in this context. He totally meant to insult him.
Like, yeah. Very derogative terms.
Yeah. Mostly beginning with N.
Oh, I wasn't even thinking about the. I was thinking about the F.
Oh,
or the G.
Well, there's that, but I pointed out KDB more to the point that it's like race. Which
he gets a lot about sexuality and race. He gets a lot of calling out.
Yeah.
Just for the hell of it. I think he's mostly fine. I mean, I don't know his reaction on the race based ones, but I mean the.
I know. I can't remember who it was. I think it was. It was in the Discord. It was quite a big thing, about the whole LGBT thing, and then about race as well because of people defending the LGBT thing. It's like, well, yeah, we can't fix everything overnight. Just don't be a dick. It's really the only way about it. Just don't be a fucking knob. Oh wow, so I'm going to kill time because kids' headphones died. So I'll address it in a little point just now. So I've announced officially that I will no longer be active in ring. And after this Tournament of Death event, depending on how it goes, I will probably not host any events outside of Takedown Live. So I Takedown Live and DB Tech is basically the only thing I'll be doing in Real Wrestling from this point going on.
Yeah, obviously, right. Okay, my headset's back.
Yeah, you're back. No, my last in ring match will be the DXW Championship Chamber.
And when's that?
End of the month, I think.
Well, what if you win that?
If I win that, then fuck it, I'm going out champ.
But what better way to leave, right?
Like, I'd rather go out on top of something, or I'd rather go out in a big match and say, "Cool, I tried, I didn't win, but fuck it." I'm not gonna sit and be like, "Oh, I lost a match, fuck this, I'm leaving now," and then come back 2 months later and be like, "Cool, I'm fighting you guys now. This is my dream matches. Let's do this." Like, no, it's not gonna work like that. I'm just gonna continue doing my thing, developing stuff and making stuff for you guys. Like, I'm not leaving the community. I'm just not gonna wrestle.
That's fair, right? I mean, pretty much every single Raw wrestler, once they get to this certain point, got to think about their final match in a sense, you know? And some people care and some people do not care about what in ways they're going to be, their match is going to be for the final one, right?
I don't like the idea of putting a final date on it, but I initially said that I'm done. Like, I'm done now. Like, I'm just going to call it now. And my last match was literally a triple threat at VDW. But then I was just like, it's unfair for me to win the qualifying spot for the chamber and then to get hyped about the chamber just to drop out.
Exactly right.
And I don't want to throw Richie under the bus ever with it, so I just decided that'll be my last one. I'm just gonna call it there. Because I don't know, I'm getting too stressed about stuff on this website that I shouldn't be getting stressed about.
I know for sure. Some people don't quite realize that. Like, for some people, it's easy not to get stressed, and then some people who it's easy for them to get stressed are just colossal dicks about it, you know, in the sense that some people don't quite fully understand that there is a level of stress to it, and in a sense, there really shouldn't be.
There shouldn't be stress. There shouldn't be. And that's why I'm taking this step back to try and, like, negate it. Because when I left for a while, I was away for, I was away August until, I want to say January. And then I came back in January and started making DB Tech in February, tested it through March, and then you guys more or less got it April, May.
Yeah.
And people were fucking loving it.
Which is good. It's always good to have positive.
It's always good, yeah.
Right?
The one thing that irks me though, right, and this is why I'm like getting stressed out, is I tried to hold an event. And then someone ran over that event due to someone else told them that there was nothing on that day. And so I'm sitting there in a circle with 4 people wondering what the fuck's going on, considering there was so much hype behind this event. It's like, okay, cool. So it gives me the impression where it's like, oh, cool. So if DB Tech's at RCW, you'll love it. If DB Tech's at VDW, you'll love it. If DB Tech's at APRW, you'll love it. If DB Tech's at my own fucking venue, you don't give a fuck.
Sometimes it does help. I mean, I wish it wasn't necessarily the case, because yeah, it kind of does suck. It would suck if
It sucks putting all this work in for other people's companies to allow them to have something extra, and then not be able to use it myself to the same extent.
Yeah, I know. I feel that for sure. I mean,
Like, I'm not asking for 50 out of 50 servers, but come on,
something to work with.
Yeah, give me something. At least let me run fucking 5 singles matches.
I know this wasn't originally the topic you were trying to harp on with that, talking about DB Tech not exactly drawing in on its own thing. But one thing that I sort of feel like Pro Wrestling needs to look at, and that was something that we originally were hoping for with the RWA, and we've made minor moves for it, but it hasn't been exactly as intensive as it used to be, is Pro Wrestling has a really bad job of actually trying to expand. Like, it's awful. Like, if you think about Pro Wrestling, or not Pro Wrestling, like Pro Sports communities who have gone from that, only people who are interested about that, to more of a expands out to it's interesting to all people. In the same sense that, Pro Football, I'm sure, to as an extent, because it had a front page, it has a front page game, and the Pro Basketball stuff with hoops and whatnot, and Pro Soccer games and other things that have gotten like lots and lots of attention on it. It's because they have I mean, sure, there's flaws to it, but by and large, they have a community that functions. They have a community where they have a distinctive sort of a card system, if you will, sort of a tier, a hierarchy and whatnot. And it works for them because people know where to go to get the best quality stuff. People know where to go to, if they want to get involved in the community, this is where you go, because they have open gates to get in there. Like NRBA has the NCAA or something like that, or whatever the fuck it is. They have a way for you actively to get in and to get better, instead of just saying, oh, you have to be good at it to get in, or you have to have gone to other things to get noticed and whatnot. It actively tries to get you in. It actively tries to make sure that you have something to do and that you are trying your best to get in there. Whereas I think Pro Wrestling is doing a lot of things wrong to miss out on that. And one of its key things is there's too much problems within itself to get to a point where it can expand out to other people. Like, we could not present ourselves in front of hundreds of other people because we can hardly present ourselves to each other.
Yeah, definitely. In the same sense, though, a lot of Pro Wrestling's problems stem from just not listening.
Well, not listening, but also sort of unintentional not listening, but also intentional not listening the intent of greed, in a sense.
Yeah, like, it's the same argument with DB Tech, I guess. People don't realize that it's a lot harder to bug test like DB Tech if 900 different feds have it. How am I supposed to, if something goes wrong, how am I supposed to update every single one?
Exactly, right?
So it started off small, just so I have a case where I can work on stuff, basically. Like, how am I supposed to keep up and work on DB Tech and make sure everything's going to be okay, so when it does roll out, if I have to go around every single company and make sure everyone's got the same version? Hell, doing it with 3 people's a pain in the ass.
Exactly, and it'd be more of a pain in the ass if it became public stuff, right? That's for sure. I think, honestly, that's a case of you want to make sure that everything's up to date so that people are using the best of the best stuff, as opposed to lower tier stuff.
It also means no one's coming in not expecting what they're going in for.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of my biggest fucking pet peeves about the old school TDs now. Everyone's got different weapons. You don't know if you're going into a match and everything's going to be a one-hit kill or what.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, there's only so much you can do.
No, that's fair, right? You can't expect to do everything, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. I don't know, man. It's just the whole thing of people not listening at the same time.
There's a case of that in wrestling, and I've made advice. One of the big things about it also is a lot of people don't necessarily get the same level of publicity. They don't get the same amount of attention because they make poor decisions about when they're going to do their shows. And as weird as this sounds, I almost feel Tam's made a suggestion earlier for a particular federation that I won't name just because it's beside the point. I don't want anyone to dwell on that when it's not the point of our discussion with it. Is he suggested that a certain Fed only runs once a week. Now, to that Fed, that seems like an absolutely just bullshit way. But at the same time, if you were to take a more extreme example, now I know this example is only toning them down from 2 to 1, but if you take it in just common sense, but also I can give a specific example. I used to run my Fed with 7 different shows a week, which was just ludicrous stupid, but that's also 2013, 2014 kids at its finest. So this was before
you're catching back up. You're sitting at 4 now.
Yeah, I want to take those 7 back there. Yeah, but I wouldn't run 7 if I had to run 7.
When's the APRW buyout, dude?
Yeah, no. No, but yeah, I wouldn't be running even more than 2 shows if I had to run Outbreak and or Takedown Live. Should that become a Wednesday night consistent staple?
Yeah.
Or staple, sorry. But the thing about that is I used to host 7 shows all by myself. They pretty much didn't deviate. There was no brands. Because the whole actual brands, we used to have brand shows, but we never actually incorporated them into booking because we only got about 37 people peak. Like, that was our top attendance for that whole 2-year stretch from 2013 to 2015. Because we were not a big Fed, and we did not even actively try to become a big Fed. Plus, if you saw our old stuff, you can sort of understand why. So we did 7 shows a week, and we're like, okay, the attendance just keeps dropping. And, some people are coming to certain shows, and sometimes there's random spikes. So then we eventually got rid of the Tuesdays and Thursdays to correspond with, because this is when I was more globally aware of other federations. So I had gotten rid of Tuesdays and Thursdays. And sure enough, attendance had grown on most other shows. Because then that means that those that would typically rely on the Tuesday, Thursday thing, they can't rely on that anymore. So now if they still want to go to RCW, they have to go to another show. Then I believe we got rid of the Wednesday one, then we got rid of the Saturday one. And I think that speaks for that itself, that pretty much that's what we've kept with. And attendance would just grow and grow because people realize, especially with it being Outbreak on one of those days and being solely tailored to Outbreak, there really is only 2 places they can go for RCW now in the ways of main roster competition. And that obviously sounds like a pretty standard amount, but if you consider that there was 1-7, you sort of get the idea that it's more exclusive where you can go. So no, there isn't just that level of, I can go wherever the fuck I want. Doesn't really matter. So killing the attendance on an average. And the same thing could be done with a two shows to 1 show type thing. Is if there's only one place for them to go, if they still want to attend that Fed, there is only one place they can go, and that's where they expect to go.
Yeah, it's like, let's say, let's use UKW as an example. Back when I used to go there actively. If I missed a Monday show, I wasn't giving a fuck. I could always go on Friday.
Exactly.
It's like RCW is different because it's got a brand split.
And UKW became different once it had its brand split.
Its second brand split. The first one was shit.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, no.
Okay.
That's just I was a general manager during the first one, so I'm allowed to say it was shit. But no.
He had a helping hand.
Yes, I helped hand deliver that piece of shit. Tams agrees it's shit as well, but it's fine. If your Fed doesn't have enough people to have a brand split, you do not need 2 shows a week.
I do feel like that might honestly be a thing. Is like it's not like it's a thing, obviously, and I understand that for people that looks like I'm stepping down, I look weak, I don't like doing that because it's I should have 2 shows a week just like everybody else. But that's the thing. The only reason that you're saying that, typically speaking, is everybody else has it. If everybody else has it, and everyone else collectively decided it's either brand split to book more people, or we cut down to 1, then overall you're winning. Like, sure, at the beginning you think you're losing because I only get 1 show. But think about how much less stress you'd have if you didn't have to host 2 different shows. Like, at this point, I'm actively considering, and sure, I wanted to keep this as down low as possible, but I don't mind saying this because I think I've already teased it on air a few times. I'm actively considering trying to get someone as a general manager for either Nitro or Thunder, depending on which one, so I'd only have to host 1, and I can exclusively focus. Because at the same time, I've also done negotiations with TAMS about, main roster versus Outbreak stuff, where I try to get certain superstars, and he says, oh, no, you can't have that star, but you can have this star. So, like, real negotiations with us, and we sent a few down. It's the same with
Takedown Live as well. Like, we've been discussing, as much as everyone's welcome, at the same time, it's about who we can have as a mainstay kind of staple guy. Like,
exactly, right?
The idea for Takedown Live is everyone can wrestle there. But if you really want to be pushed forward for something in that roster, you need to be dedicated to that roster.
It's kind of like the old, not necessarily current NXT, but back earlier days in the NXT, where actually better example.
Stuff would show up.
Yeah. So, take the Cesaro Sami Zayn thing. Like Cesaro could have a feud there, and he could that would probably be the furthest they'd go. They'd never pin the title on Cesaro.
Definitely.
Like they wouldn't have NXT champion Cesaro. He'd have to actively be an NXT guy, and they did that also with the Charlotte and Natalya thing. Charlotte ended up winning the NXT World title or Women's title, sorry, but they had Natalya contend for it.
Same with Tyson Kidd with the NXT title.
Except he was actually down with NXT.
Yeah, but at the same time, he was still on the main roster.
Yeah, he was still a.
Well, that's the case of dedicating yourself to the roster, then.
Well, he was he did fully dedicate. He didn't just come for the one-off feud or the one-off thing. He had dedicated himself for like the whole stretch of 2014, and I'd argue that was where some of his best work was. And I felt genuinely defeated hearing that the neck injury fully took him out. Right?
Dude, can you imagine if I honestly thought injuries like legitimately?
Yeah, Eddie Slayer's recently taken a Damon death drop and is now in critical condition. May never wrestle again. Beautiful.
Anthony has tried to hit the Mahal knee drop and has missed. He has now tore his ACL, his MCL, and his meniscus. He is out of Raw wrestling for the next year.
Mahal knee drop gone wrong 2018. Gone sexual.
Yo, I didn't know this was an APRW promo.
What happened?
I didn't know it was an APRW promo. Gone sexual. Did you not hear about the strip club thing?
Oh yeah, no, I was in that. I was in that.
Of course you were.
Yeah, they had me. You were. Yeah. No, well, no. Here's the thing. Of course I was, but it's even more. Of course you were. Once you realize the role I was playing.
But don't tell me you didn't.
No, no. It's not what you think it is. It's maybe not that good, but still pretty decent. So they have Joey versus Ruthless, which was honestly fucking fantastic. I loved that. The damage could have used. You were talking about the damage control.
That's something I'm actually working on just now, anyway.
I know you were talking about that, and it definitely could have used it in that match. But regardless, it was beautiful.
Yeah, Joey DM'd me about it, and I was like, yeah. Partly it's not my fault because Roblox fucking hates me.
And if you said it was a good match, that's not even necessarily a biased comment by him. I think it was. I watched it. I was in the promo set when it happened.
I find it really hard to have a bad match with DP Tech.
Typically speaking, but it's not really a matter of having a bad match or having a good match. It's about having people watch it and have people react to it as if it's a good match. Yeah. Because if you want to argue it, if people aren't watching it, it can virtually be considered a bad match. It's not a case of if the wrestling is good. It's a matter of if people are going to recognize that the wrestling is good. If every single person on Twitter said, "Oh, this match sucked," then people would say this match sucked. Even if the match didn't suck, it's just a matter of if people are willing to invest themselves to watch it.
Yeah.
And I wish people would.
I wish people gave a fuck outside their own little bubble.
People really do need to, and that's what I hate. I hate hosting, and I dealt with it a bit on Monday. Now we got past it, and I get there is such thing as bad content. No one sit there and tell me that there is such thing as nothing done in pro wrestling can be done wrong. As long as you're trying, you're doing good. No, there's such thing as bad content. Okay. And people are not going to want to react or react positively for straight up bad content. But people need to at least give it the shot. Watch it, react to it honestly, and then that gives active criticism. But some people will just sit there and get boring. They'll say the show's boring. That pisses me off when people say the show's boring, but they were not paying attention whatsoever.
It's like, the show was boring. Could you tell me what was happening? No.
Exactly, that's what I do sometimes. It's like they'll be like, "Oh, the show's boring. It was so bad. Like, I hated this part." And well, no,
they don't even say that. That's one thing that fucking annoys me, right? Is people don't seem to having to try and work to pop a crowd over like an announcement fucking pisses me off. Mm-hmm. Like, let's take the Takedown Live announcement first of all, right? I had Moody spamming B because he got pissy at me because of the fucking Bash of the Beach thing where he was spamming about his own Fed and I shut him down.
Yeah, and I've told him actively, I have actually just gone straight at him and said, you understand that, we're any consideration we were going to take into maybe even have your Fed at the pre-show as a little gag there, even if that was a consideration we were going to have, it's gone out the window with you being a dumbass and repetitively asking and repetitively spamming. Nothing is more annoying. Like, nothing makes me want to put someone, for example, in an N1C less than someone spamming for that N1C.
Didn't you kick him on Monday?
Nothing makes... Yeah, I did. He was in my whispers, and I'm like, wait, what's that? What's that? Oh, someone in my head right now. Oh, Muddy's begging for the world heavyweight N1C. Colon kick Muddy. Oops, sorry.
Yeah, that was immediately after our announcement, coincidentally enough.
No, immediately before.
Was it?
Oh. Yeah, because we did that was in the massage shop, and then the transition from the massage shop to the N1C was the thing. So it was something to give me time to set it all up, right? Not to look at it as belittle it, but something in between, so it didn't break in within the laws of it. But like, honestly speaking, that is true. It's like nothing is fucking more annoying than people begging for something. Like, I don't think people quite understand just how little you like. I get people occasionally asking me once in a while on Skype, say like, "Hey, would you consider me for this?" I'd be like, yeah, sure." Like if you ask it polite, and you don't repetitively ask it, I'm willing to take it into consideration. If I get 84 messages from you in a given day where you're saying, "Bro, put me in this thing. Bro, put me in this thing. Bro, I've proven why I'm worthy. What the fuck? Why am I not in this?" Any chance you had of giving in that is immediately gone. I don't care about you.
Bye, Felicia.
I've tried. I think honestly, I've done that to Money. Is
some people,
and I hate to use him as an example, but he does make it very public that he is an example of this and nothing less.
Oh, fucking yeah.
It's annoying as shit. Like, dude, I'm willing to push you into things because he's not terrible in the ring.
He's not bad.
And he's obviously
it's his attitude.
Funny.
That's literally his only fucking issue. Is he's just such a fucking dumb cunt.
Just like, dude. And I get people sometimes have anger things where it's like something, they can't necessarily help it, they just get angry at something. But, dude, if you let it affect someone, then people treating you like it affects someone, it's not really a thing. Like, you can't shit on someone for treating you like you have anger issues when you actively promote that you have anger issues.
Don't say you're something, then say you're not, then say you're something, then say you're not. If you're gonna be a fucking lying piece of shit, at least keep your story straight.
That's the thing. And I have people in my Fed that whenever they lose something, they get angry at me. But like they're willing to tone it down. They're willing to not go so extreme on it. And then after the fact, they're like, "Hey, sorry, I did this, man. I wasn't thinking," and they've toned it down. Like people are actively trying to tone it down on doing that. People are apologizing after the fact, saying, "Hey, man, I think I went overboard. Sorry on that," etc., etc. And it gets better. You know what I mean? Like I'm willing to accept. I understand that it's a competitive aspect. So of course some people get angry over it, but at least own something. At least own up to the fact that it happens. I think that's at least a step for improvement.
Oh yeah, definitely, without doubt. But at the same time, like, it's not hard to just leave the game.
I know.
Like,
well, trust me. I run a show. I know it's not hard for people to leave the game. All they need is a match.
Yeah, all you need to do is give them what they want and they'll leave. Like,
I don't get that. I don't get what's so.
I miss the fucking days when, like, before, like, we could even have like the season Bs, people would still pop hard for matches, like proper.
And some fans gone. I was at APRW and that shit was alive as hell.
Yeah, it's like, I remember when we first brought DB Tech. RCW. Remember the fucking pops on that show?
I know, and RCW still gets them too. I think it's in need of a little bit more than one had, and I think every Fed should be having good reaction. Like, if you're there at a show, the least you could do is show some involvement. Like, I came to APRW, I told them I'd like to return, I told them I'd like to have a return match, so I wasn't going to be a dick and sit there in the crowd actively doing nothing. And then once he needed to get Don Morrison in, I'm just like, hey man, like, I'll leave the server and give Don my spot if you'd like, because I've been here, I was there for like 3 or 4 hours at that point. I'm like, okay, I didn't just leave right after my match. I'd stayed for a while before, I'd got my match, I stayed for a while after, tried to be active in the crowd, and then I saw myself, I'm like, okay, I'm not active in the crowd, like, I'm definitely worn out, like, now, so, I'm
that's the
just
thing
taking
for
away
me.
from the experience.
Like, sure, I'll show up to Nitro and do stuff that I need to do for Takedown Live, like that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But by then I'm just worn out. Especially,
but if I feel
because I'm GMT, it's like, I feel like a lot of people forget I'm GMT.
Sometimes, yeah, no, we've had things with that. But once I feel myself getting worn out in a server, I like to just like find a way that I can sort of either give someone else especially if I'm on commentary or something like that. because sometimes people will put me at tables or whatnot.
Yeah.
Like, if I feel myself just worn out, I'm just going to give someone else the spot. Like, I'm like, there's no use in having me in this spot if I'm not contributing because I'm worn out at that point. Like, people just need to, realize into that, I think.
I like commentating. That's a lost art of pro wrestling commentary. I commentated the entire GMT Climax Night 1 with Rudy, and it was one of the funnest events I've actually enjoyed. I've actually enjoyed it the entire time.
Well, because it does really force you to
focus on it.
Focus
and
on
even
it.
then, trying to make sure Rudy's answering questions about everything. Like, people came after the event was like, this was a really good commentary team. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I take pride in. I don't see the point in doing a job wrong or doing a job bad. If I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it right.
Yeah, otherwise you might as well not do it at all, right?
Quite right.
That's the thing. I mean, people really need to put their best quality stuff to everything they do, and some people are like, "Oh no, I don't want to do it here. It's not exactly." This is especially in the case of matches or whatnot. They're like, "Oh, I don't want to do it here because it's not that big event. It's not that SummerSlam or that Mania." I don't know about you. A specific example of dealing with this has got to be people's retirement matches. Like, when was the last time you saw someone retire at any given Mania equivalent, and you're just like, damn, that really sucks. I'm going to miss them. Like, when was the last time you gave a shit that someone retired at Mania?
The last time I gave a shit that someone retired at Mania. Specifically Mania.
A Mania of any kind.
I can't even remember anyone actually retiring at Mania.
I think it's a trend that's gone. UKW had a shit ton of them, and I'll tell you now, I didn't. No offense intended to any of the people. Respect to every single person who did it. I just didn't care. I could not find myself in the Mania hype
during the last
to
Mania,
actively care.
That was the only. In fact, funnily enough, right? UKW had what? 4 Manias?
3. I think 3.
No, I swear it was 4.
Was it 4?
I swear the last one was 4.
Oh yeah, 4. Never mind. Yeah, 4.
I built for UKW Mania 1, 2, and 3. And I wasn't on ROBLOX for 4. I still had never attended a UKW Mania, despite building the arenas for 3 of them.
I know. I was there I wasn't there for the majority of the 4th one because, well, server was ridiculous to get in, and I think I had something the day before. What I did see for the highlights I saw.
Don't get right. Mm-hmm. Who goes out I get it, right? ROBLOX is a big part of some people's lives. Who goes out of their way to join a fucking server 2 hours before a fucking show starts?
Well, that's why I've actively, and I encourage APRW and other feds to deal with this issue soon to come, because I'm sure APRW and I will soon not be the fed. I mean, hell, a year ago I could not have told you that APRW was going to be as big as it was. I did not see APRW getting as big as it was.
Definitely. APRW was a fucking mess a year ago, though.
Well, yeah, a year ago it was a mess, and now he's groomed it into what some could argue is either among the top or the top company. I mean, it's just crazy.
That's just because we spent the last entire year just fucking packing him.
We still pack on him, but
quite right.
I mean, that's the thing. Just because you're the top guy doesn't mean you just don't get packed.
Ken's a big business boy. We still make him feel like a little fella.
I know, but he's got this fucking federation that draws in as fucking quick as I do, and as quick as I have in my prime.
And we still build him to the point where these calls.
I know, it's all in good fun, right? But that's the thing. That's why I've started. More on your topic of joining 2 hours beforehand. I didn't even realize APRW had filled because it was I think 4:25. And he's like, "Shit, man, I gotta get to my arena." I'm like, "Why? It's 4:23." And he's like, "Oh, it's at 43." I'm like,
"Fucking what?
Fuck this." I'm like, "Fuck this. I don't want to go to fucking APRW at 4:25 because then I realized
go at a show at this fucking.
I'm sitting here because
there's a reason
it's nothing
life events have doors at a certain time.
Yeah, and I'm sitting here no offense to Ken, because I enjoyed a show. I thoroughly enjoyed being at a show. But, dude, I felt fucking almost exhausted, and the show hadn't fucking started yet. I'm like, bruh, it's just 5 minutes before 6, and I feel fucking exhausted. Dude.
Going to a weekly show shouldn't feel like going, to watch WrestleMania. WrestleMania this year was fucking 8 hours long.
I know. That's why I've actively started opening my doors at 5 o'clock now. 5 o'clock on the dot, 1 hour before it. So we can still do some stuff to energize people, to get people warmed up, to still have a little fun, and book those that aren't typically going to be booked on that main show. But also so I'm not there at 4 o'clock, which was the case before I started the 5 o'clock cap limit. Fucking, I was there at 4 o'clock, sometimes even before. And I'm like, fuck this, dude. Hosting can be fun for me sometimes, but I feel dead-ass worn out if I have to host 2 hours worth of shit if I have to come up with, host and all that 4 hours worth of shit before my main show even starts, you're not going to get the best out of me if I have to host 2 hours before. That's a borderline show on its own.
Wait. So, bro, imagine doing that twice a week, every fucking week for fucking God knows how long.
That's why I encourage before it gets too late for APRW to do that, and any other Fed that will soon deal with that issue is, I'd say, open your arena an hour beforehand.
I mean, fuck it. Let's look at this perspective, right? Everyone complains about a 3-hour Raw, right? Mm-hmm. APRW starts at what? 6 Eastern?
Yeah.
What time is it now?
9 Eastern.
Raw has already happened. There's still 49 people at the fucking APRW.
I know, it's crazy. And it was full beforehand, too.
Exactly.
It's like
it's filled for like an hour beforehand. That's fucking 4 hours.
And that's great, and people are... And that's the thing, and I could completely recite to you that this cycle exists. I could tell you for a fact that this cycle exists. People are going to be enjoying it for now. People are going to be like, oh, I love being an APRW. But in about a few months, people are going to start wearing tired of that. And it's nothing against what Ken does. Ken could be still running the same quality, the same good stuff, the same prestigious level stuff that he's doing, and people will still get sick of it whether he likes it or not. And the main reason for that is people don't want to be there so long. So it either needs to keep the speed, or I really do encourage the opening the doors at 5. Because it comes to that point that nobody really wants to sit there for hours upon hours upon hours to get a match. And it does get to a point where it's virtually impossible to ensure the same people aren't getting late matches. Because if the same people get late matches, they're not going to be happy about it.
It's such a shitty predicament as well, because an issue you can't prevent. It's not even that. It's like an issue you wouldn't get anywhere else. Like, if it was real life, you wouldn't get this issue. You have to worry about all the other people with different time zones as well.
Oh, I know. That's the thing.
It's like, for example, everyone's like, yo, this is a good start time for me, 6 p.m. That's great. Like, even for Takedown Live, that's going to be at 6 p.m. That's fucking 11 p.m. for me. I'll start hosting Takedown Live at 11 p.m. GMT.
I see.
So it's like, if anyone ever comes to my fucking shows complaining of tiredness, I'm just gonna be like, fuck you too.
Well, that's the thing also. That's why I like having a brand, and that's why I actively like having a brand that is more GMT accessible, like on a Friday.
Oh, yeah.
So there is, rationality to GMT. I always push every single GMT to go there. I always think of it more as a necessity brand over a preference brand. So I almost just feel a little less compassion for the GMT that I do actively warn about this issue. And I mean, respect to them for coming to Nitro, but Jesus, dude.
Go to fucking bed.
Dude.
I'm a big fucking hypocrite of that entire fucking message of go to fuck to sleep. Ever since fucking 2007, dude, I've been staying up to midnight just to go to shows.
I know, and respect to them for showing up, but dude, you can't expect me to completely cater to GMT needs on a show that I've warned is not GMT friendly.
Oh yeah.
Like I have given you the open disclaimer that this is not a very GMT friendly
There's
show.
There's like a chance you will be out stupid late. For
yes,
example,
there is
let's look at yesterday, Monday. I did my announcement at 1 in the morning.
Yeah, I think, and when Falden was in the World Heavyweight MC, the match right after that, so about 1 in the morning, he's wrestling that
big fucking boy match.
Yeah, he's wrestling at 1 in the morning, and I'm like, I mean, I respect that you come, and I think it's fantastic, and Falden's a great talent, and he's might be on one of the best runs of his career, but I did say, like,
go to bed.
Thunder might be better for you, because it's a little bit, it is very, I'm aware that there are GMT on there, so I do actively try to book GMT, or at least most times try to book GMT in a sense that is appropriate for them. I don't do that same thing on Nitro because there's about 1, maybe 2 that come onto that.
Yeah.
I think there is only 1. I think he might be the only Nitro guy that falls under that. Mel Amber does, but Mel Amber's never had a problem with time.
I don't know.
That's the weird thing.
Mel Amber's a weird person, dude.
He's a very nice person.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
It's very weird.
I remember when he first started, like, in UKW, but he's really fucking weird. Like,
what with his bedtime and whatnot?
No, he's just, like,
or his lack of one, really.
No, it's not even that. It's just like the more you think about it, it's like, what the fuck are you?
I don't
like
know.
as a person, like everyone has everyone's quite open about who they are on Roblox, or who they pretend to be on Roblox. No one really knows. Dealt with a lot of people. No one really knows anything about Mel Amber.
Well, we have a lot about those, right? We have a lot of those. We have who knows? What do you know about Honsho? Nothing that he's done on Twitter. Like, what do you know personally about Honcho? Like, what's his real name?
No, I don't know because I don't fucking talk to him.
What about Luke Cena? What's his real name?
He'd probably fucking lie about that.
Well, yeah, you get what I'm saying. There's a lot of people in this community that we really don't necessarily know as much about. But then, like, someone like Dewey, like, I could tell you...
I could tell you Dewey's full name.
Height.
I could tell you Dewey's full name. I could tell you his height. I could tell you his, like, living address for, like, the last 6 months.
It comes off as creepy, but some people are just really fucking open about that.
Like, people don't give a shit, dude. Like, most people on Roblox know where they fucking work.
Yeah, that's because like no one, especially in pro wrestling, is gonna fucking pick up the phone and go over to fucking call in a plane. No, what the fuck? Call in a plane? What the fuck am I saying? 9 o'clock. Apparently too late for me.
SWAT.
SWAT. Oh yeah, SWAT. Yeah, that'd be well. That's a worst case scenario. I didn't want to bring it to that, but fuck.
Hey, you went plane.
Well, calling a plane like fly over there is what I meant.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think I meant? Calling a plane bomb fucking Tom Brown's house? There you go. That's fuck you booking me late. There you go, bomb the hell. What do you think I was gonna say? Jesus Christ.
I don't fucking know. Oh man, I fucking can't, man. I'm looking through. Let's see, is it the fucking Nitros on Mondays? Let's see the GMT.
Yeah, there's only one or two. Sorry, Melamber. But again, like I said, Melamber never really seems to have a bad time. He's in a weird sleeping schedule. I don't know how he survives.
I thought James was GMT.
No, James is EST. He's from like Georgia. That's the James. The one you're thinking about is First Epic Face. That's not.
Oh him. No, I was thinking of like James as in China Squad James, as in James Omega. No, the First Epic Face was fucking rejected. Like, he was a fucking moron.
He's kind of a dickhead.
Oh, he's a fucking grade A bellend. I always despised him.
He didn't seem so bad on the first interactions I had.
He was part of the reason why I walked away from UKW for a very long time.
Yeah, he seemed like a grade A dickhead.
Oh, he was like, oh, I can do this better, I can do this better. Well, can you? Fucking do it then. Never did.
He was always talking about how Roblox developers were shit. Then he posted something to his Twitter, acting all impressed about it, and I literally set out to script it. I scripted it in about 3 minutes, 27 seconds. I'm like,
John, right.
How the fuck are you gonna call Roblox developers shit?
Speaking of that, let's look at Fort Boyard with his fucking lighting rig, right?
That's the thing. But big disclaimer before you go on something about that. He did also not say that he thought of himself as the best developer. Just to clarify.
No, but he always says like, oh, my lighting rig was this, my lighting rig was that. I was like, cool, I re-scripted your lighting rig within fucking 4 minutes and already put it into a venue you were supposed to be working on but didn't because you're fucking lazy.
He confused the hell out of me because he started with this whole thing that it was about respect for people and it was about building it up and building up low card talent, and then somehow became building up everyone who isn't Damon. And I get that, like I said, I don't know if I said this last time, but I've definitely said it to people before. I get not liking Damon being in the position that he is, but actively going out and making basically a company that says, hey, we're not going to push Damon. No other high cards, just Damon. It's kind of a dickhead move whether you like Damon or not.
Like, regardless if you like him or not, Damon's in Damon's position because Damon is fucking good.
Yeah, he's actually actively good. Maybe not always the best, but certainly good. Like, if you saw his World Heavyweight on Wednesday last night, he fucking slaughtered.
Like, he comes in, and he'll do his fucking job. Pardon me.
I believe he's at a point. I don't know if it was all simultaneous, but it was damn close to simultaneous.
I'm pretty sure he held every...
TNX World Heavyweight Champion, ORW World Champion, RCW RCW World Champion at the same time.
That's fucking bizarre.
It was a TNX World title. So all three, ORW, TNX, and RCW, which was, I think, the three biggest at that time, and I think he was in the running for VCW World Heavyweight. He was all in that, at that time, completely unanimously, and you're going to tell me he's not good.
Have I ever told you my favorite story about the VCW World title?
What about that?
The fact that I legitimately Ted DiBiase'd it.
Oh, boy.
So,
That's ugly.
Cena actually put in this rule where you cannot buy the title after I had done this. I gave ZC23, I don't know if you'll remember that name.
Who?
ZC23.
Oh yeah, I've seen him. Yeah, I think I wrestled him back in 2000.
Well, he was the reigning champion.
Mm.
And I gave him 1.2k to buy his world title off him.
Oh no! There's a name that comes to mind for that, but I'm not going to say it.
And we genuinely counted it as a title exchange, so I defended it at Winter Slam and got fucking teamed on in a triple threat because I bought the belt.
I mean, like shit. I would fuck if that happened. If that happened at a company I actively cared about, I would fucking team on you too. In that case, I
To
ain't
be
gonna
fair
lie.
though, I nearly won.
I had a decent
In
run
fact,
for
do you want to know who my
honest.
opponents were? Spy Dude.
Never. I think I've seen him. Maybe. I've seen him live.
23, I think, or something like that. It was like the same numbers.
Apparently, 23 was a fucking popular number back then. Apparently,
that's another thing, right? Numbers and
average age of retirement, right
numbers
there.
and usernames have just been exchanged for fucking Roman numerals at this point.
It's not. Yeah, they're not even X's and I's anymore. It's just replacing the numbers for fucking Roman numerals. We want to be cool and shit.
Bro, I'm gonna change my username so it's just a fucking long line of fucking Roman numerals.
Yeah, I'm changing my name to Kids Rock IV after this podcast.
Bro, bet.
Kids Rock.
Bet.
No, I ain't gonna do that.
I'm gonna.
I would, but I've actively said I'm never gonna change my name.
I'm gonna change. I will literally hand you 2k right now just to do it.
I don't want any changes on my name, to be honest. I know Kids Rock 4 is certainly not an attractive or sexy name, but I don't ever want to change it.
I'd never use the word kids and sexy in the same sentence, please.
Yeah. I feel like I've heard it before, but that's alright. If you ain't gonna say it, so many other people will. Don't worry about it.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Don't worry about me. No.
Oh, wow, you've actually never changed your username.
No.
Huh. How old's this?
And I have one of those fucking usernames that would make you think I would too.
Yeah,
like,
I would have.
Because Damon used to have Damon128553. Like obviously he was going to fucking change that. That name is ugly as shit.
Logan Steele. Tanbeer 999.
Yeah, like Logan Steelheart used to have fucking Proto Drake 567. I'm sure we all know his Proto, but Proto Drake 567 is still kind of ugly.
Going back to the Roman numerals thing, on my older account, just the original Dylan Brown account, I have Dylan Brown, then Dylan Brown with capitals, and then DB_XIII, so like 13. Which is fair, because I have that number tattooed on my shoulder. I feel like I've earned the right for that number.
I guess.
Boy, shut the fuck up. Speaking of that account, in approximately what month are we in? The 6th month? January, February, March, April, May, June.
6.
Yeah. In 2 months and 12 days, that account officially turns a decade old.
Very nice. I'll be 9. My account will be 9 years old at the end of August.
I had an account before the end of the permaband. I'm fucking pissed off, dude. That account would be approximately fucking. Let's see, December 06.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's a big fella account.
That's a fun one right there. I was gonna say,
Do you know what's mad, right?
What?
So, you know Joey, like Yoey1323? Yeah. I remember that the search system on Roblox used to be so shit. I used to just type in his profile ID.
And it worked, or
yeah,
no?
Yeah, it works. Go to your profile right now and read out your profile ID.
Read out my profile.
So it'll be roblox.com/user/ID/profile.
Yeah. 4357720.
So think about how long that ID is, right? Joey's is 921.
Fuck.
I'm not even kidding.
I know.
Change the ID.
Well,
Change your ID. Just type in 921 instead of your ID in that URL.
So within the first 1,000 accounts? Yeah. Oh, okay. Wait, is his name... I only just noticed his name is supposed to be Joey backwards, isn't it?
Yeah, it took a lot of people. I love it, dude. You know...
Oh, shit, he must have gone on recently. He's in R15 and everything, isn't he?
I don't think he's been on recently, but I think that was just a package and it automatically defaulted to R15.
I don't know that that's a thing, is
it? I think, I don't know. I know he hasn't been on in a very long time. I know that much.
Hold on, I could test this really quick. Yeah, I don't think it defaults, because every package is capable of R15, and here's an old account of mine that had a package on it, it's not
Weird.
R15. So he might have just signed in and done it and then left, I don't know. He didn't really do anything. Just came in, checked around.
To put this in perspective, his description still has a referral code.
Jesus fucking Christ.
And the referral code was only 5 digits. The last game he favorited was last updated in 2012.
Oh boy.
Like,
that's fun. So now all I do is favorite pro wrestling games. Like I ain't even.
I don't fucking favorite games. I barely play any games anymore. Do you know what I've been playing recently though? Not Roblox related. I got fucking hooked on that fucking. Oh, what's the fuck's it called?
This boy's about to say Fortnite.
No, it's not Fortnite, but it's the same lens. It's like Realm Royale.
Oh.
It's not like Fortnite. Oh, it's a battle royale, obviously, but it's not as shit as Fortnite. I fucking hate Fortnite.
I've never played, although I don't think that I ever want to at this point in its lifespan.
Anyway, I think like we've been going on for an hour or so.
Have we really been an hour?
I mean, the call's been going for an hour and 12 minutes.
Fuck. So these things get fun too at times because it's just a lot to ramble on about wrestling. That at the same time, if people listen to it and actively pay attention to it, like it's a good thing to hear because there is active criticism that. If people like, that's my thing. I say this a lot, and it's usually in arguments that I end up having to say this. I don't want it to end up being arguments, but they do. You can listen to the things that we say if it comes to critiquing you. You can listen to them and get offended because, oh boy, they critiqued me. I am the almighty of pro wrestling. How dare they critique me? Or you could listen to it, actively think about, hey, maybe that is a valid point.
Take it on the chin and see what maybe I could. Better.
Yeah, like, why the fuck would you want to settle for, oh, I'm doing this wrong, so you know what, fuck it. No, I'm doing this right. Fuck you, I'm doing this absolutely right. I'm the best one at this. Like, why not just take it, consider it, actively consider it, be self-aware for a second, actually try out the suggestion and see what happens. Like, we're not suggesting it for no reason. I get no pleasure as one of the top Federation owners calling people out at random for no good reason. It just, there's no benefit to it, and there is absolutely no reason to do it. So, like,
it just goes back to that whole argument of don't be a dick.
Exactly right. Just don't be a dick. Common sense takes you a while. Common sense takes you a long, long way, don't it?
Definitely. Common sense matters. The whole thing. Yeah.
People will get there eventually. We're getting better and better, I think. Our wrestling's on the improve.
Yeah, we've been saying that for the last 10 years. Here we are. Anyway, that's a good note to leave it on.
It's a positive one, in a sense.
Just don't be a dick, guys. On that note, I've been Dylan Brown.
And I'm Kid Jericho.
And this has been the Art of Roblox Wrestling.